What if the person you despise most in this world is actually the most accurate portrait of your own soul? It sounds offensive, doesn't it? Your ego is likely screaming in protest right now, insisting that you are nothing like that person. But here is a counterintuitive truth that psychology has proven time and again. Your most intense irritations are not observations. They are confessions. We are all walking around in a hall of mirrors, pointing fingers at others to avoid looking at the shadow lurking within ourselves. Most self-help advice tells you to just be positive or cut toxic people out. But that's a quick fix that leads to a shallow life. If you don't understand why certain people trigger you, you are doomed to repeat the same broken relationships forever. This isn't just about mental health. It's about a fundamental glitch in human behavior that Carl Jung spent his entire life decoding. You think you're seeing them clearly, but you're actually looking through a lens of your own suppressed desires and hidden fears. Today, I'm going to show you how to turn your hatred into a superpower for personal growth. We aren't going to fix those people. We're going to use them as a roadmap to your own self-awareness. By the end of this, you'll realize that your enemies are actually the greatest mentors you've ever had. If you're brave enough to look past your persona, you'll discover that the key to your freedom was hidden in the very person you wanted to avoid. This is the deep, dark truth about why you despise people and why your irritation is the golden ticket to a new mindset. We are about to dive into the mechanics of the mind, where the mask falls off and the real work begins. Are you ready to see what's actually behind the mirror? Or would you rather keep fighting ghosts for the rest of your life? Let's begin with the law that governs every interaction you have, the mirror rule. Have you ever looked at someone and felt a sudden, inexplicable surge of irritation? Perhaps it's that coworker who's always too loud, or that friend who constantly seeks the spotlight. Before you judge them, consider this. What if that person is actually a mirror reflecting a part of yourself you've locked away in the basement of your mind? Carl Jung called this projection. And it's one of the most powerful tools in psychology for achieving true self-awareness. When you find yourself pointing a finger at someone's flaws, you're often witnessing your own shadow work being done in public. It's a bit of a wake-up call, isn't it? If someone's need for attention drives you up the wall, it might just be because you've spent your whole life suppressing your own voice to maintain a polite persona. You aren't actually annoyed by their volume, you're frustrated by your own silence and the rigid mindset you've adopted to fit in. To bridge this gap in your personal growth, try a simple exercise tonight. Pick the person who bugs you the most and write down 3 specific traits that get under your skin. Now ask yourself, when do I deny myself the right to act that way? This isn't about becoming loud or mean, but about developing the emotional intelligence to realize that these traits exist within the spectrum of human behavior and within you. 2. Integrating these realizations is the first step toward better relationships and a healthier state of mental health. By acknowledging that the mean face in the mirror is actually your own reflection, you stop being a victim of your surroundings. You start to reclaim the energy you've wasted on judgment and turn it into fuel for your own philosophy of life. But even when we stop projecting, we still have to navigate the world wearing a certain mask. In our daily life, we all play roles that require us to wear a specific persona. Think of it as a necessary social skin. You wouldn't speak to your boss with the same casual slang you use with your old college buddies, would you? This is a fundamental aspect of human behavior that allows us to function in society without constant friction. However, the danger arises when you start to believe that the work mask or the professional mask is your only true identity. A wise mentor once said that we all carry a suitcase full of different hats: a parent hat, a friend hat, and a leader hat. The secret to high emotional intelligence is knowing how to switch them without losing sight of who is underneath. If you find yourself feeling exhausted at the end of the day, it's likely because your persona has become too heavy or too tight. You've been performing for so long that you've forgotten what your own real hair looks like beneath the costume. To maintain your mental health, it is vital to practice unmasking in a safe environment. Tonight, spend 20 minutes in a space where you have no expectations to fulfill, no one to impress, no one to care for. You might find clarity by journaling your thoughts in a book like The Red Book by Carl Jung, which serves as a masterclass in seeing past the social veil by intentionally setting aside the mask. You nourish your personal growth and prevent the ego from becoming a hollow shell. When you master the art of the persona, You move through relationships with a newfound grace and a more flexible mindset. You begin to see that these masks are merely tools for communication, not definitions of your worth. But as you peel back these social layers, you will inevitably come face to face with the parts of yourself that you've tried to hide in the dark. There is a hidden side waiting in the wings, and it's time we shine a light on it. Deep within the basement of your psyche lies the shadow, the repository for every impulse and emotion you've deemed unacceptable in the realm of psychology. This isn't a bad place, but rather a hidden one where your anger, jealousy, and raw desires live. We often spend our daily life pretending these forces don't exist, yet they continue to influence our human behavior from the darkness. If you ignore the shadow, it doesn't disappear. It simply waits for a moment of weakness to erupt and sabotage your personal growth. Think of your shadow as a loyal but misunderstood companion that follows you everywhere. When you feel a sudden, irrational spike of jealousy over a neighbor's success, that is your shadow trying to speak instead of suppressing it, which only makes it grow more volatile. Try to acknowledge it with a sense of self-awareness. Acknowledging a dark thought doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a whole person, capable of navigating the complexities of mental health with honesty. A practical way to begin this shadow work is to pay attention to your slips of the tongue or sudden emotional outbursts. When you catch yourself feeling irrationally angry, stop and ask, what part of me is being triggered right now? You might find that your anger is actually a frustrated desire for boundaries or self-respect. Reading Owning Your Own Shadow by Robert A. Johnson is a fantastic starting point for anyone looking to turn these dark energies into creative power. By saying hello to your hidden side, you stop wasting energy on a constant internal war. This shift in mindset allows you to integrate these powerful forces into your conscious life, transforming scary impulses into useful tools like assertiveness and drive. As you stop running from yourself, the internal landscape begins to settle and the fragments of your soul start to drift toward one another. This movement toward wholeness is the only way to escape that lingering feeling of being off or empty. True happiness isn't a collection of external trophies, it is the profound result of individuation. In the world of psychology, this is the process where all the scattered pieces of your identity finally begin to hold hands. You might have a high-paying career and a beautiful home, yet still feel a strange, hollow ache in your chest. This happens because your inside self and your outside life are living in two different worlds, creating a rift in your mental health. Think of your mind as a complex puzzle where every piece, your career, your hobbies, your secret dreams, must fit perfectly to reveal the full picture. Many people spend their daily life trying to force a work piece into a space meant for creativity, leaving the rest of the box untouched. To achieve real personal growth, you must stop neglecting the parts of you that don't generate a paycheck. You cannot feel full if you are only living out 20% of your potential human behavior. If you feel off today, it is a signal from your self-awareness that a specific part of your soul is being starved. To fix this, look at your schedule and identify one neglected passion. Perhaps it's painting, studying philosophy, or even woodworking. Dedicate 30 minutes a week to this useless activity, treating it with the same respect as a business meeting. This small act of self-help begins the process of weaving your fragmented lives back into a single, cohesive tapestry of being. As you align your external actions with your internal truth, your mindset shifts from survival to true fulfillment. You no longer feel like a passenger in your own life. You become the navigator, steering through relationships and challenges with a sense of purpose. This internal harmony creates a deep, quiet confidence that no external event can shake. But to stay on this path, you must learn to trust those sudden quiet whispers that seem to know the way before you do. Inside your mind, there is a giant library filled with ancient stories that speak to you through your human behavior. Carl Jung called these archetypes, universal patterns like the hero, the wise old man, or the great mother that help us navigate daily life instinctively. When you meet someone and feel an immediate sense of trust or a sudden gut feeling of danger, it's not just luck. Your brain is scanning 1,000,000 years of human history to find the right book that explains exactly who you are dealing with. Developing your emotional intelligence means learning to listen to this inner storyteller rather than just relying on cold logic. Modern psychology often tells us to ignore our intuition, but this gut feeling is actually your self-awareness tapping into a deep well of collective wisdom. It's like having a compass that doesn't point north, but points toward your own truth. When you ignore this compass, your mental health suffers because you are effectively flying blind through life's most difficult relationships. To harness this power for your personal growth, start paying attention to the recurring characters in your life and dreams. If you feel stuck, ask yourself, am I playing the role of the victim right now, or am I the hero of my own story? You can deepen this connection by reading The Archetypes and the Collective Unconscious by Carl Jung, or even by exploring how these patterns show up in modern films like The Matrix. This isn't just self-help. It's reconnecting with the very blueprints of the human soul. By trusting your intuition, you cultivate a mindset that is both ancient and incredibly sharp. You begin to see the world not as a series of random accidents, but as a meaningful stage where your philosophy can finally take root. Listening to those quiet internal whispers allows you to act with a conviction that few people ever find. Once you master this internal dialogue, the world stops being a place of confusion and starts becoming a landscape of profound hidden connections that only you can see. Now that we have walked through the labyrinth of the soul, you are faced with a choice that your ego would rather avoid. Will you continue to walk through the world blind, blaming others for the shadows you cast yourself? Or will you have the courage to integrate the hidden parts of your identity? True personal growth is not a comfortable journey. It is a brutal confrontation with the truth of your own human behavior. The mirror rule is active in your life right now. Will you use it to see, or will you close your eyes and remain a stranger to your own self? I challenge you to stop reading and start acting. Who is that one person who irritates you beyond reason? Today, instead of judging them, look inward and ask yourself what part of your own shadow they are bringing to the light. This is the only way to achieve real emotional intelligence and a lasting sense of fulfillment. If you choose to ignore this, you aren't just ignoring them, you are abandoning yourself to a life of hollow masks and repeated mistakes. What is your mind trying to tell you through your irritation? If you are ready to stop living on the surface and start mastering your own psychology, you must commit to this work every single day. The journey of individuation is long, but it is the only path that leads to a life that feels full. Don't let your persona dictate your destiny. Take control of your mindset and start the process of becoming who you were truly meant to be. Are you brave enough to turn the mirror around and face what is waiting there? If this exploration of Carl Jung and the hidden depths of the mind resonated with you, then you belong here with those of us seeking the truth. Subscribe to the channel and activate notifications right now so you don't miss our next descent into the unconscious. We are building a community dedicated to deep philosophy and radical self-awareness. Join us, and let's continue to uncover the mysteries of the human soul together.